This debate, which was really hyped as being a big thing, did this underdeliver or did it deliver? Did this actually mean something to you? In the back, stand up.
Hi, my name is Shelley. I'm also standing, so. I think, I came into this with an open mind. I really, really wanted Vice President Harris to hit it out of the park. I don't think she did. I think she did better than some people expected her to. The cackle was not there. I kept waiting for it, and it didn't come. But I still didn't get answers. I didn't get answers to fundamental questions that we need to know as voters. And we just keep getting circled around that.
Like what? What did you not get an answer to?
Her economic plans. What is an opportunity economy? What does that mean? Who's paying for the tax cuts that she's proposing? Because in my opinion, giving people down payment assistance on houses just drives inflation up higher. Who's paying for all of these child tax credits? That's just the taxpayers coming out of pocket and hurting the middle class again. So I don't think that we got to the meat and potatoes of the things that really matter. And we know from Donald Trump's presidency before, he can fix the economy. So I was really looking for her to make an impact on my thought process tonight, and she didn't deliver that.
The Harris campaign is in a frenzy today as voters are indeed beginning to officially turn their backs on her, all as a massive backlash against the ABC moderators is raging across the internet. We're going to see precisely what really happened last night and why it's all good news for Trump and very, very bad news for Kamala and the permanent political class. Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, here to help you stay sane in these insane times. So make sure to smack that bell and subscribe. We're going to dive right in here. But first, I do want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that's the makers of Liver Health Formula. If you're one of the 100 million Americans struggling with all the weight gain and energy loss that comes with a fatty liver, this is an absolutely awesome solution. Liver Health Formula is an all-natural supplement. It contains 12 clinically proven botanicals that help recharge and protect your liver. It's manufactured right here in the good old USA, and it's approved by independent American doctors. And if you click on that link below right now, you can try Liver Health Formula, and you'll get a free bottle of blood sugar formula when you order today. So don't let a fatty liver keep you sluggish and inactive. You all know this, gang, that I myself lost 60 pounds. This is personal for me. I could say it was one of the best decisions I ever made. And now it's your turn. Click on that link below or go to getliverhelp.com/Turley and claim your free bonus gift. That's getliverhelp.com/Turley. All right, let's talk about what really happened last night, because I think a lot of commentators this morning, a lot of conservative talk radio, social media pundits, they're completely missing what happened in that debate. And I can understand it. They're livid. They're absolutely livid over that disgraceful display of double standard partisanship on the part of those so-called moderators. Even Meghan McCain, freaking Meghan McCain saw it. She tweeted out last night, "I've been telling you guys for years how much ABC hates Republicans." Of course, she used to work for ABC on The View for a number of years. Everybody saw it last night. Every single person watching that debate saw how overtly and pathetically partisan those ridiculous excuses from moderators were. Everyone. Now, of course, if you're on Team Kamala, Team Joy, you're all for it. You stopped caring a long time ago about the integrity of an election. All you unhinged Karens care about is power. So you're all for it. But, and this is key, gang, this is precisely where I, as your Patriot Professor, am here to help you stay sane in these insane times. I want to take you back to the single most significant political moment immediately preceding this debate. That moment that redefined American politics as we know it. Now, if you're listening by way of our 20 million podcast downloads, what we're seeing here on the screen is that epic moment when Robert Kennedy Jr. stepped out on stage with Donald Trump and announced the new populist realignment that was dedicated to taking down the establishment once and for all. This is what unites the populist left with the populist right, a shared loathing, a shared abhorrence of the permanent political class, and now a shared commitment to take that permanent political class down once and for all. That's the context in which we need to interpret what happened last night. That's the cultural, political context. Because if you have that context in mind, then all you have to do to get your sanity back in all of this, all you got to do is ask yourself one question. What did those tens of millions of voters who now belong to this new political realignment on both the left and the right, what did they see on display in that debate last night? What did they see? We all know what the woke left saw. We all know what liberal cosmopolitan America saw. But what did this new nationwide populist realignment made up of both left and right see last night? That's the key to understanding what really happened. It was the establishment that both the populist left and the populist right equally loathe that was really on display last night for all to see. This wasn't mere media bias. This wasn't another Candy Crowley moment interrupting the debate to fact check Mitt Romney. Those were different days. Those were different times. This was the establishment. This was the permanent political class on full display. That's precisely what Robert Kennedy himself said after the debate. Same with his former VP nominee, Nicole Shanahan. They both said last night's debate was Donald Trump versus the permanent political class that we are all now united to take down. And the amazing news is they did not break him. Trump stood his ground. They failed to break him. So yes, of course, today they're doing everything they can to mock and ridicule him and puff up Kamala. But for the tens of millions of Americans who are now part of this new populist alignment all across the nation, they saw a very different debate. They didn't just see 3 against 1. They saw the establishment once again trying to take Trump out, and they saw the establishment once again failing. And how did they fail? Well, that leads us to the second major takeaway from all this. Again, take a look at what even Meghan McCain saw last night. She called the questions that these so-called moderators were asking as, quote, elite Manhattan debate questions that have nothing to do with real ordinary Americans economically suffering and who can't pay for groceries. She nailed it. She absolutely nailed it. It was actually one of the first reactions I had to these debate questions. Nobody in rural America cares a whit about 90% of what they were asking. This is how the permanent political class and their attempt to sabotage Trump is totally backlashing on them. All the gotcha questions, all the questions about January 6th and Charlottesville and all the questions about the 2020 election and all the questions about Trump's character. The vast majority, particularly of rural America, doesn't give a rip about these things. What they care about is, what are you going to do to fix the economy? What are you going to do to stop this out of control inflation? What are you going to do about the jobs? What are you going to do about the border? And to that end, it's very important to note, I think Trump did very well. He hit the key themes of economy, jobs, and border at least a dozen times, not to mention the unraveling of our world order and possibly getting ourselves in the midst of World War III. By contrast, Kamala failed literally at every turn to define what the heck her policies are, which is precisely what this debate was supposed to enable her to do. And as a result, as we saw at the beginning of this video, voters are turning against her for it. And even worse, voters in Pennsylvania. Check it out.
I think it's important to remember that we are voting for the leader of our country and not who we like the most or who we want in our wedding party, but who is actually going to make our country better. And we're in an incredibly unique situation where we've had both of the candidates in office before, and we've gotten to see what they would do. And when facts come to facts, my life was better when Trump was in office. The economy was higher, inflation was lower, things were better overall. And now with Kamala's administration, things haven't been so fantastic. And she's saying she can fix the problems that her administration has caused, but I just don't know if I can afford to take that risk.
Were you leaning towards the former president coming in tonight?
Probably.
And did you vote for him in 2016 or 2020?
I did.
Here's CBS's panel of undecided Pennsylvania voters saying literally the same things.
She just basically repeated everything that Biden has said in the past.
What were your thoughts?
Donald Trump made a strong closing statement by saying, why didn't they do all the things that she's proposing during the 3.5 years that they've been in office? And Biden did this entire moderate stance back in 2020, and she's trying to do it again in 2024, but she didn't talk about her policy changes between 2020 and 2024. Her whole centrist moderate stance is just a facade.
Even MSNBC was forced to air the wrath of one undecided voter over Kamala's culpability with the southern border catastrophe.
We still have to have a controlled border, a secure border, because, yeah, we've had a lot of people going through the border illegally. My family went through a long process to get here legally. So I feel that it's unfair for hundreds of thousands to get here without problems, and then for the federal government to help them out. We've also lost Americans because how many illegals we're letting in, like the young boy from Ohio who had killed by illegal immigrants.
Even CNN was forced to show that Kamala actually lost support on the economy to Trump last night. She lost 2 points, and Trump gained 2 points before and after the debate in terms of who you support more to fix the economy, the number one issue animating voters in this election. Here's Trafalgar's polling. Now, Trafalgar is one of the best polling records out there. This sums up precisely what we saw last night. Who were you supporting before the debate? It was a tie, just like we've been seeing across the board in a number of these polls. 47% were supporting Trump, 47% Harris. A tie. Again, and a tie, remember, a national tie is an electoral college disaster for Harris. Who won the debate? Well, a clear majority, of course, as they always do, believe the Democrat won 55-43, just like they did with Hillary, just like they did with Biden. It's baked into the cake of the script of what we call virtual politics, the fabricated, constructed politics of legacy media-sponsored debates. But then look at their final question. Who are you voting for now? Gang, they're still tied. In fact, each one gained a point, 48 each. Kamala did not gain on Trump at all, according to Trafalgar. That's what happened last night. What happened last night galvanized the new populist realignment to support Trump even more. They're fueled and energized, and it confirmed the new populist realignment's determination to take down the establishment once and for all, and they failed to move the needle a millimeter for Kamala. That is exactly what happened last night. Now, that said, you know what you're going to see over the next 2 weeks, don't you? You know it. You know exactly what you're going to see. You're going to see precisely what we've been seeing over the last 5 weeks with the media pushing all of these ridiculous response bias polls showing Kamala running away with it to fuel their narrative, their lying narrative. Now, you guys were great over these last few weeks. You didn't fall for it. And we all watched together her polls deflate just as quickly as the lying legacy media inflated them. We predicted that would happen, and it did. I need to ask of you once again, get ready to steel yourselves for another round of that. Get ready. It's coming. You just have to ignore it. In fact, as the blitzkrieg of completely misleading, fabricated response bias polling comes in, I want you to remind yourself of what Election Wizard, one of my favorite Twitter handles, tweeted out. He said, quote, "The media, like the ABC moderators tonight, will run an op to influence the polls. This is election interference at its most explicit. But when it all shakes out in a couple weeks, few will remember tonight's debate. It's a bleep on the radar. Trump did fine. Harris didn't pull a Biden. The fundamentals of the race haven't changed, and it's still Trump's race to lose." That's great advice. So steel yourself, get active, get resolute, and let's get out there as the new populist alliance, and let's together take down this corrupt political establishment once and for all.